Why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu enter Eretz Yisrael? Simple question. Why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu? Why was he punished? Hit the rock. I think 99% of people will say that. Because of hitting the rock. So you are the 99.3. 99 people will say hit the rock. You advanced.
How do you go to throw? Then the wall will come to perfection or something.
That's what. But if it's a tzaddik gamo, he doesn't make any mistakes, he should go in. You know what would happen if he would have gone in? As if Baruch Hashem that he didn't enter. But what's the reason that prevented him from coming in? Lechoira here at the rock. This is not so. You know why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't enter Israel? Because he didn't daven. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't daven. How many times did he daven? 515 times the Gimatya Va'eschanan. Why do you tell me he didn't daven? And he only stopped because the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, stop! Al Tosef O Daber Yalai Davar said, stop! You tell me he didn't daven. The last part of the Medrash Dvarim Rabbah in Vezois Abracha, Parsha Yud Aleph Ois Yud, very moving. It talks about the argument, the fight that Moshe Rabbeinu has with Malach HaMavis. Malach HaMavis is coming to take Moshe's life, and Moshe insists, no, I have to stay. I'm staying. Arguing back and forth. Omar Rabbi Yochanan, 10 pa'amim, 10 times the word death is associated with Moshe Rabbeinu in the Torah. Umus bahar hazeh, he'asef, vayamus sham Moshe eved Hashem, vayi acharei Moshe avdi mes, maves. 10 times the word, why so many times? Rabbi Yochanan teaches us, melamed, that up to 10 times it was decreed on him that he's not going to enter the land, but this decree was not sealed. Yet, Amar lo, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, Gzeira hi milefanai shelo ta'avor. There's a decree. You're not going to pass. Shene'emar ki lo ta'avor es hayarden hazeh. You will not pass. You will not cross the Jordan River. This is kind of frightening now. But I'm quoting you, Ahmed Shaba. V'davar zeh haya kal be'einav shel Moshe. Moshe took it lightly. Why? Because he said, Yisrael sinned grave sins. And every time I asked Rachamim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened. The pasuk says, Heref mimeni ve'ash midem. I'm going to destroy your nation. And right after that, Vayinachem Hashem al hara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, no problem. Akenu badever ve'orishanu. Let me destroy them. And Moshe Rabbeinu davens to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'yamir Hashem, salachti. Me, says Moshe about himself, Shelo chatasi mineurai. I never sinned from my youth. How much more so that when I get to daven, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accept. No rush. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw that Moshe Rabbeinu was not running to start davening, Bekevan shera HaKadosh Baruch Hu shedavar zeh kal be'einav shel Moshe ve'eino oimed betfilah, and he's not standing to daven. Miyad kafatz alav v'nishba b'shma HaGodol. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes a shvua. You are not going to enter the land. You know Choni HaMe'agel? Where did Choni HaMe'agel learn to make a little circle to stand inside for Moshe Rabbeinu? Continues the Medrash and says, Moshe was the original Choni. He made a circle and he jumped right in, wearing a sackcloth. Ashes all over his body. And he's davening HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So much so, he davened that the heaven and earth shook. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu declares, in every gate, in Sha'arei Shamayim, in every Beis Din, do not accept his prayer. Too late, buddy. Shh. So why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu enter Eretz Yisrael? If all that was needed was one more, he had 515. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, stop! And one more will tilt the scales. Because he didn't rush to daven. Davar ze haya kal be'einav shel Moshe, was light in the eyes of Moshe. Ask the Sfas Emes. I don't understand. When he davened, when he finally got to it, and he davened 515 times, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to him, stop. I have to stop. I knew directive from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, stop. You stop. Fine. But why didn't you try to slow down for him? You don't want your beloved leader to be with you? So Moshe Rabbeinu didn't tell the people, daven for me, because maybe he thought they're also included. Just like I can't continue to daven for this matter, Klal Yisrael can't daven for it. But why didn't the people on their own wake up and say, we have to daven for him? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to him, stop, so he can daven. But we, of course, can and should. Because the tzibur made a wrong kal vachomer, which I think we do many times. The tzibur says, come on. They didn't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu's prayer. Bechir Amin HaEnoshi, the most exalted man who ever lived. And they're going to listen to me, Yochanan ben Moshe Yochanklatz. Come on. They're going to listen to my prayer, Reuven ben Rachel. When they don't listen to Moshe, it doesn't make any sense. So what's the sense? They didn't daven. And I think we do this calculation many times. You daven. They don't listen, so we stop. But this calculation is so wrong because in Gemara Brochos, Daf Ches Amud Aleph Chazal say, never does HaKadosh Baruch Hu reject the prayer of tzibur. You have such a koyach when you come as a tzibur. More so than Moshe. To Moshe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says stop, but he never told us to stop. And once we daven, as a group, HaKadosh Baruch Hu never rejects our prayer. So Mimele, why did Moshe Rabbeinu enter Eretz Yisrael? The Gezerah, the decree was set because of the sin. He hit the rock, they told him to speak to it. You're right. But why was it executed? Because he did daven fast. Oh, he didn't fast? He didn't daven fast enough? That's fine, there's a fix. Klal Yisrael should daven. But they made this wrong. Kal v'chomer, what's the sense? Nobody's going to listen to me up there if they don't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu. And we made it, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu didn't enter Eretz Yisrael. I think the...
Why it says the base 10 times?
Yeah. Melamed, says Rabbi Yochanan, this comes to teach us that 10 times it was decreed in order to propel Moshe to action. You know, you're not going to enter, you're not going to enter, you're not going to enter. And Moshe was supposed to, oh, let me daven. But davar zeh haya kal be'einav. It was light in the eyes of Moshe. He says, when I daven for Klal Yisrael, he always listens to me. Always. When I daven for me, he's not going to listen. I'm a tzaddik. I never sinned from my youth. Medrash Rabbah Dvarim Rabbah Parsha Yud Aleph Ois Yud. I gave you only a very short summary. It's very, very moving. You must read it. A whole argument. Malach HaMaves and Moshe Rabbeinu. Wow. Mamish Pilei Ploim. The first time I read it, Zalgu Einai Dmaos. It's so moving, it causes you mamish to cry. Lemaise, I think the Musar Haskel for us is, let's stop making this wrong kal vachomer. When there is something to daven for, we must daven. Whether it's something we want for ourselves, whether it's something that the tzibur needs. When was the last time HaKadosh Baruch Hu told you, stop davening? He only said it once to Moshe Rabbeinu. As long as he doesn't tell you stop, we must daven. But you see, from here, it's not just about davening. It's about rushing to daven. Because that's where the real koyach comes from. That's the only true koyach that we have. Tefillah, mitzvos, and maisim tovim, nimitz Hashem. For the merit of mitzvos, maisim tovim, tefillah and Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be mismale berachamim. And mitzvah Hashem, we're going to see the geula hasheleima, bekorov b'yameinu, v'noimar omein.